Hi everybody, it's Corey at The Reset Girl. I am here finally after like a month hiatus for the Late Night Crafty Club, and I am so glad you are here. Now, if you are new to my channel and this is the first time you are seeing me, yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. I am wearing my pajamas. This is a very special series on my craft channel that I call the Late Night Crafty Club. I'd say about 6 months ago, I was really starting to think about how to bring something new to my communities and to like my channel. And I always kind of feel like Friday night has this little special quality to it where a lot of us, after a long work week of responsibilities and our jobs, that it's kind of nice to just like get in your jammies, pour yourself a glass of wine, and get your crafting on. But wouldn't it be fun to do that all together? So you are watching a pre-recorded video, but it is being live streamed, and I am in the chat box doing little messages to you guys, and you are being joined by women from all over the world right now, which is so awesome. So if you are here for the first time, welcome. And if you are a regular to the Late Night Crafty Club, I am so glad that you are back. I know it has been a few weeks. Our trip obviously was successful. We made it back in one piece. For those of you who don't know, my husband and I recently purchased a very large motor coach slash RV that happened to be located in Florida. So we had to drive it cross country back to our home here in Washington State. And we now, it's funny how I didn't really do the math. I didn't really realize I literally have 2.5 months to get that RV customized, painted, modified, whatever needs to be done to it, because we need to move out of this rental. April 30th is our last day here. So I have to downsize a 4-bedroom house. Like this room is one of the bedrooms. My office is a bedroom. Mr. Crafty is in one of the bedrooms. So all of them, most of this house is dedicated to workspace. It's dedicated to our business, and which is why we had such a big house. But clearly an RV has much more limited space. So I have a huge project on my hands, and I am thinking that over the course of the next few weeks that I'm going to do a lot of filming of my downsizing process. It's very painful, I'm not going to lie. I spent a couple hours yesterday just trying to go through my clothes, which have already been downsized from the previous rental house we were in to this one, and I'm having to do it again, and it is hard. It is hard. So I know it's going to be it's all overwhelming when I think about it, let myself think about it. In addition to the house, we also have to move out of our commercial space, completely downsize, sell off, minimalize that entire store. We are making, we're going to change how we're doing things with our shop, which we'll be announcing soon, and it's very exciting to me how we're going to be doing things differently. And I also have some workshops to crank out and offer those to you as well. So, and next month I am going to California to speak at the National Planner Con. So if you have not bought your tickets to the National Planner Con, it is not too late. I'm going to put a link below so that you can check out the details for the event. It is happening March 11th and 12th in San Francisco, and it is going to be fabulous. Your 2 keynote speakers are Miss Erin Condren and myself, and you also have a lot of other vendors and sponsors, including Simple Stories, will be there. It's going to be huge because you are having something like on a national platform, and people coming from all over, not just the country, but the world, are going to be there to attend the event and to be sponsors or vendors there. So it's all very exciting. I am super scared. And I need to come up with something brilliant, girls, something brilliant to talk about for my speech. I have definitely been thinking about it and pondering. I spent a lot of time like sketching out ideas, and I've always sort of had an idea of what I was going to do, but speaking on that level is kind of it's a little different than doing a smaller event or doing I don't know, some of like the workshops I've done, or this is a little harder for an introvert to wrap my little brain around what that is going to feel like. I'm having flashbacks to when I was like in, junior high and elementary school, when I had to get up in front of the school and read my paper that I won first place. And I think I started sabotaging myself shortly after that so that I wouldn't have to get up and read anything in front of anybody. So I have that ahead of me as well. I am super excited about meeting Planner Girls, and I'm planning on having a little booth that you can come and see me. If you're watching this and you have plans to go to PlannerCon, please come and find me so I can hug you. That is all. Okay, so tonight we are getting our crafty on. Now I wanted to, I'm going to show you a project that I've been working on that I came up with when we were driving back on our trip. But I want you to like use your imagination and how you can adapt this idea to a big project or a big goal that you have in your life. One of the wonderful things about planners is that they're such an awesome like vehicle tool for doing so much more than just planning and doing your like daily to-dos and your tasks list. So, the Humble Planner, you can turn it into a very powerful tool and resource to help you. So I'm going to be using my Carpe Diem planner. It's the Marigold. And I had my Miracle Morning planner in this, which I took the ingredients out and all of the inserts out, and I put them in a different planner. And I did that mostly because I love the color, and I just think it's so pretty and sunny, and I really wanted to use this in the RV. So, and I happen to have something in here that was super cute and appropriate for this project. It was a little picture that I printed out from Pinterest. It's a little Your Guide to Natural Attractions on Route 66. This had been something I printed out from my vision board because as long as I can remember, I have loved making vision boards. I just love them. And right before Mr. Crafty and I got married, we made one to kind of build a vision for our future. And on that vision board was the fact that we were going to have an RV one day. So this little guy was something I printed out because I wanted to put him on a vision board to remind myself that, going on trips and going to see fun things while we work and run our business in the RV is something that we are both looking forward to. So that is super appropriate that it happened to still be in this planner. And I'm going to repurpose this guy and show you how I'm going to build a planner for a very specific, aspect of my life, which is going to be, in this case, camping or RV living. So camping season is going to be upon us soon, and so a lot of you might draw some inspiration from this idea. But I also don't want you to just think about it as like it's not an RV planner. It's also something that you might consider doing if like your kids are going to be going to college in the fall or out, or you have a lot of planning to do to get them there. So I think I've seen a few comments where people have said, oh, that'd be such a great idea to do this type of planner for, my kid is going to start college. So there's a lot of hurdles and hoops and red tape and forms you have to fill out to get them there. And because I've gone back to school, I know exactly how many forms you have to fill out and things. And it's probably even more challenging when you have a kid who's going to physically go to school because you have, getting them into housing and getting their meal plan and all of that extra stuff all set up for them. But also if you wanted to make a fitness planner, and you wanted something that was just for fitness and that's all you focused on in this planner was just your fitness goals. If you were moving out of state and you're moving from, one home to another home, there's so many different details. A lot of women are military wives. You're doing cross-country travel often to move. So there's a lot of bigger projects. In like my case, when I moved into this house, I was determined to like get all the whole house set up as quickly as possible. So I had very specific shopping lists. I wanted to get different things for each room, and I wanted to get the whole house unpacked like super fast. So moving is another great reason to have a planner like this. You can also consider, some people are doing remodeling, they're building their first home. A wedding is an excellent reason to do this. A home binder, if you want to set this up for your home, you can very easily copy the concepts that I'm doing for something like that. Just so that you can have a way of managing your household. And there are a lot of tools available. I see pins all the time for Pinterest that have like, home management printables that you just need to have the components set up and organized in a little planner that will get you on your way. So I'm going to show you some of the ideas that I came up with for mine, and you can think about how you could apply that for yours. Now, I also want you to consider, I'm going to be rolling out a workshop in the near future that will drill down on very specific details. Like, I'm going to show you how to make your own inserts so that you can customize your own inserts for your planner, for especially this type of planner, because this is not a planner where we're doing to-dos and tasks and meal plans. This is something that's more, has a broader use. So I want to show you how to make your own inserts. I'm going to show you how to construct step by step the dividers, the tabs, all of it. So this is just kind of giving you a taste of what that will be like. But I will share with you some of my tips that, and especially based on questions that I have seen in the groups that I have. And if you are not in all of my Facebook groups, I will link below the link to get you to my communities, because I have 5 of them, I believe, that all are fantastic, warm, positive, happy people that were just in different groups sharing different things. So I have a Carpe Diem group, a planner stylist group. I will be rolling out a group for my paid workshop shortly, for the Faithful Girl Planner workshop. I got a lot of stuff to roll out, girls. I do. I should have a planner for all the stuff that I have to plan. So let's talk specifically about setting up a planner. So the first thing that you're going to do, and I swear I should get this trademarked, is it starts with a list. I say this all the time. Everything starts with a list. Whether you want to like achieve a goal or start a business or plan an event or start a planner, it starts with making a list. You need to have a list of what it is that you want to really capture, have information about, what is going to make this a useful tool for you, because we want it to be part resource, part active, like this is something I actually actively write in and record things in, but basically it's going to become a very powerful tool for you. And so what I did is I used my trusty master planner notebook, which I showed you. The last video I uploaded was all about how I made this with using 2 regular notebooks that I kind of sandwiched together and recoiled in here. So I made a list of all the things that I could think of over the top of my head without having actually lived in an RV or anything. Like, I'm just supposing these are things I'm going to need to have at a minimum. So once you get involved in your event and once you get going down the road, you will find that things expand. So, other life-changing events that could require planners, like having a baby, getting married, and going back to school for yourself. So those kinds of things all warrant, thinking through what are the things I'm going to need. So that is what I did, is I started with a list for myself. And once I got to the list level, here we are. I always lay stuff out as like try to be as organized as possible, and then I always forget where I put everything. So what I did is I made myself 2. Once I came up with my list of stuff, the first part of my list was all about the inserts that I needed, because I could tell, like looking at what I wanted to track, that I didn't have the right insert for it. But I wanted it to be very simple. I was not trying to be super overcomplicated. I wanted to create a simple insert template that I could repeat over and over again for different reasons, different uses, which is what I want to show you in my workshop coming up. But in the meantime, I made up a list of, and I try to stick with 5 overarching categories. Generally 5 tabs is about how many you can go down the side of an A5 size planner. So that kind of creates that template in my head where like you need 5 overarching categories. And then if you have subcategories, you can create a subdivider, which I will show you how that works. So for my main planner, based on everything that I was writing down, I decided what I needed was a calendar. So I wanted to have monthly pages only, just month overviews, so that I could see all the reservations and all the places that I was like saying I was going to be. The latter part of this year, once we get out of this house, I really want to get on the road and I want to teach workshops. So I need to start planning that out so that I can like geographically see like where do we need to be and make reservations and that kind of thing. So that calendar is a key component of my planner. It'll be the first section. The next section is what I'm calling 2017 plans. So these are all that this area is all about the plans that I'm making and how this little section plays into my calendar. So in this little section, I wanted to have like bucket lists. Where are all the key, like pretty parks I want to stay at? Where's all the, the destinations that I want to see? And having a list to be able to track all the reservations I've made, like a master list, and be able to track travel expenses for each trip that I did. So I made a section for that in my head. And then I'm writing down these things. So vision board. I wanted a section that I'm calling it inspiration that I could put like things I want to do. And I'm visualizing like this is a goal of mine. Like one thing I've always dreamed of seeing is the New England in the fall. So it would be super fun to make a vision board in there of what that would look like because that's a big goal for me. So anything that's like inspirational, making the vision project, and let me show you. I showed these on this channel not too long ago. So this is the inserts that we sell in the shop, and it's my vision project. So this would be, got glue on my fingers. This would be an example of making a vision board for like how I want, or I'm sorry, a project board for how I want to like remodel something in our new house. And that could be the same for you. It's how you want to reinvent or revision maybe your office. Or maybe it's, if you're going to be getting married, it's putting a bunch of bridal gowns down. Having a whole page of just seeing like flatware and dinnerware that you really love. The way that the tablescapes. So I have a whole pack of my vision project inserts that are going to go in this section. So no matter what topic I can think of that will be related to living in the RV, I will be able to build that. So that would be a whole section there. Must do. Must do's are the things you have to do in regards to whatever that topic is. And this could be like lists of things, checklists is a really great way of thinking of your must do's. So whether you're going back to school or your kid is, like you're going to have a whole checklist of things you have to do. So must-dos checklist, that has a whole section for itself because there's a lot of stuff involved. Shopping lists. I wanted to make like a routine that I will have when I set up and take down when we move around the country. Every RV type, every RV couple out there has like their routines that they go through, and I've watched enough YouTube videos to see it. So for me, a must-do would be establishing a routine. So I want to make sure that I've created a checklist for myself to do that. And then I have a section for like my resource section. So here's an area where I'm going to put my membership, a list of all the memberships that I joined that are RV related, the Good Sam Club. A lot of people get gas cards for the different like truck stops around there, like membership cards. All that stuff is hard for me to keep track of, and I don't find my phone to be very helpful, especially if you are plagued by bad internet connection, which I was many different times throughout the trip. So I want everything analog as much as possible. I'm not putting any information in there that if I lost the planner, that I could lose my identity. I know it's more high level information, but at least having like the minimum, like your membership number so that you can plug into the gas pump to get your little discount. So I also have one to put lists in there for like parks that I've stayed at and love, like I want to make a note of sites that next time when I stay at that park, I'm going to ask for that site because that one's really good. Or other RV accounts that I love. I watch a lot of YouTube. There's a lot of YouTubers out there who are living in an RV. So I want to jot their names down and make notes about like, this is what they bring to the table. So building your resource section for whatever it is a really smart idea to do, because it's also giving you this place that's where all your your toolbox is for whatever topic that you're really focused on. That's a really good place to do that. So I'm going to show you that, like the inserts that I made. I'm just going over my list of what I did and how I started. I really thought through what each section would be. So it's calendar, 2017 plans, inspirations, must do, and resources. So those are my high level, my 5 topics. And then my sub categories, I have these. And so these all fit within these 5. So I will show you that, how those break down once I assemble everything. And I did start cutting out the little tabs. These are actually going to be cut out and pasted on my tabs. So I'm going to show you how I did that. I just got started ahead of the video. So that was how I broke it down. So I went from making a list here and creating some inserts that I needed that I was missing. And then I made the structure of the planner by actually categorizing and kind of grouping things together. So once I had my inserts, I kind of used those to help guide me. How do I create a category for each of these things? And how do I, file them and keep it at 5? Now, obviously you can make 6, 7, 10 tabs if you wanted to. And I actually did end up making an extra one as a spare just in case I needed it. But I find that 5 is good for the main, but certainly that if you find a reason to have more, please make them, because whatever works for you is what's important. So this was kind of step 1 was my list. Step 2 was actually getting down the categories, typing them up because they're actually going to be the tab headings. And then I sat down and started going through all of the inserts that I had and going through them so that I could start to visualize how they were going to get assembled. So what I'm going to do is show you the inserts. Let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope I have them set up right. Okay, so the first section of my planner is this, the monthly goals section. So when I first came out with my inserts, I have a bunch of inserts you guys have not even seen yet. They are going to be coming out soon because now they have to get sold because we're moving. So they got to go. So here's the monthly goals. And these are just the monthly spreads. And they're undated, just like the ones you see now. And you see the monthly wrap up and the monthly goal sheet. And then it just flips over to another month. So when I originally designed them, they were meant to stand alone. You could have a whole section of just the months, because some people actually like to plan that way with their months separate. But what I was envisioning is when you have planners like these type, where they're not attached to your daily to-dos or anything like that, they're just sort of like, they have an entirely different purpose, then it would be nice to have your own little pack of just monthly spreads, because sometimes that's all you need is a very brief overview. Sometimes, like if it was a fitness, you're putting this in your fitness planner, you could just record information on your monthly view that had nothing to do with with dates and calendar specific tasks and things you have to do. It's more about just recording information. Same thing with traveling. If you just wanted to jot down like, this is where we went, this is what we did. So that's kind of the purpose behind doing that. So I have these monthly the monthly inserts, and what I decided when I was looking at them is I really don't need this monthly goal sheet. And so that was kind of like the first insert I really wanted to modify. And this is something you can do for any inserts that don't work for you. There's plenty of companies that crank out planners and inserts, and sometimes that page just doesn't fit with what you're doing or using the planner for. And so I highly encourage you to just modify it if you want to. If you can't rip it out, or, and in this case I can't because I need what's on the back side. But if I don't have a use for this, I could leave it blank, or I could do something creative with it. So what I chose to do was to have some fun with it. So I went through my photography and I went through images on my Pinterest boards and artwork that I've downloaded that I've purchased. So I found different resources that were sort of travel themed is what I was looking for. And this could be said no matter what topic your planner is for, you can do the same thing. If it's for a wedding, you can obviously go look at, get pictures of pretty brides, lovely settings, just like really lovely photography. If it's for house remodeling, college, any of those reasons that you're using it for, you can look for images that would really be inspiring to you. You can use journal cards, you can just collage, you can make a little vision board over this if you wanted to. I wanted to kind of keep this as more simple, so I found photography, and I know that this is an A5 sized sheet, so it's larger than an 8x5. So I made the image 8x5 so that it would fit within the frame of the actual paper. So I'm going to cut out one of these and show you. I have the famous gold scissors out, so if you have not bought yourself a pair of these scissors, and they're not expensive, I'm going to link these below because these are amazing. And if you are a paper crafter and like to craft it all, these are worth having in your toolbox. So I went ahead and trimmed that image down, and just like I suspected, I got the sizing right. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to glue that image down on my paper to cover up this sheet, which doesn't really work for me in a planner that's all about like just daily travel. These goals and all this I fill out in my regular boss planner for my regular day-to-day like business and everything. So that's where I kind of use it. So I'm just covering it all up with a picture that I got from my photo roll. So you can see that this would be really super easy. You could just cover it with scrapbook paper and put a little design on it if you wanted to. And so that's what I did, is I just went and started printing out stuff. And this was like an old ad that I found on the internet, which I thought was super cute and perfect for this. And so I do have a need for using the monthly wrap up, so I left that one intact, but then just the rest I'm covering with photos. So it adds more color, it adds it's more dynamic. You can choose how many months you want to keep in your planner. You don't have to keep all 12 months. I probably am going to, because I do have to plan out so far in advance. I think I'm actually putting something on the books for Texas not too long from now, so I should probably actually, you know what would be kind of cute is if I could find a way to coordinate. This actually was in Texas, obviously, but coordinate the month with the time frame that I'm going to be there. So if I can, I certainly will try to do that. So I'm just going to stick it back here, because I'm going to try to do Texas in late summer, early fall. So that's how I am modifying these guys. So I wanted to share something with you, because I just remembered that I had gotten asked this question a lot before when I talked about printing stuff. And so before I continue, I want to talk to you about this so that you have some insight in how you can construct and print your dividers and your inserts. So I use two types of paper for doing my inserts and self-printing projects. So the one brand I absolutely love is this Navitor paper. One of the benefits of it is it can go in inkjet and in laser. It's multifunctional, and it's the 32-pound. Usually with 32-pound, the reams are smaller. They're half the size of the regular paper. So you get 250 sheets instead of 500. On Amazon, you can get a whole box, like a case of it. And I think the case size, and I'm not positive, but I think it's like 6 to 8 reams come in the box, and it's $40. Now, I have gone shopping. I have bought this at at Staples, Office Max, and Office Depot. And they usually cost about $17 to $18 a ream, just one ream in their store. And normally you have to choose between inkjet or laser. I have both printers, so this is a better fit for me because I can use it in either machine. And I like the fact that it comes delivered to my house. I can't remember if it's offered as a Prime item or if it's just a regular item with free shipping. But it is offered, and you can buy it as a ream as well. And I think it's like $9 on Amazon. I will link those below. But you can certainly go into Office Depot, any of the office supply stores, and buy that right from them. And if you choose to do that, or you have it delivered to your house, either way, the next step is what I do, is I go ahead and I take a couple of these reams and I take them to a print shop. Again, Staples, Office Max, Office Depot, they all have like that print and bindery department in their store. And that's what you're looking for. FedEx Kinko's is another one. I go to Sir Speedy. They have one store here in the Pacific Northwest, but they are prolifically located across the country. Minuteman is another place that you could go to. So any of the smaller print shops, Alpha Graphics is another option. But basically anybody who has like a bindery department is capable of cutting the paper for you. So you can bring it into them, which is what I do, or you can just buy it from their store and take it over to the place. They do charge a small fee for cutting it for you. But I go ahead and I took 2 reams and I had them cut it down for me. So now I have a big stack of A5 sized paper. So it sits right by my printer. It's all ready to go. I just put it into my little print tray. Check your print tray. If you pull it out and look at the settings that are on there, like there's a guide that you can slide around. A lot of printers now have an A5 setting, and that's what you're looking for, because if you have it built into the print tray, you can print letter-sized documents and just shrink them down to A5 and hit print and print on your paper. And it is so much easier than printing things on letter-sized paper and then slicing it, cutting it down. It takes seconds to print something on A5. So this is what I do to save time all the time, is I'll just print directly on my A5 sized paper. Now, the other thing I do is I also buy cardstock. This is from Nina, which is a really big paper company. So I've seen their products at all of the office stores, and they also sell it on Amazon. This is 110 is the... I don't want to say it's 110 pound because it doesn't feel like that, but it says 110 base. And there's 250 sheets in it. So it's laser and inkjet guaranteed and smooth. So this is what I print out, like when I buy printables, or I want to print my own dividers for doing like a divider in my planner. I'll print it on cardstock and then put scrapbook paper on the back of it. That's how I make them when I want to use artwork instead of just scrapbook paper. So cardstock is another product that is invaluable to me. I love having that as well. So that is what I used was when I do anything that I'm going to write on, like inserts, I always use 32-pound paper. If it's paper that I'm going to just print like a blog post or a workbook or like an ebook, not something I'm going to write on, but just something that I'm going to read or reference, I'll probably take it down to the 28-pound. That's when I'll change the weight. But if it's something I'm writing on, it's 32-pound all the way. It's just scrumptious. It's just so nice. It's worth the money, especially if you're going to put it in your planner. It just makes your planner feel more decadent. And the great thing about 32-pound is you can usually stamp, like chalk stamps are generally what I use in all my planners. I don't go higher than that, but chalk stamping and a lot of pens work well with it. Sharpie's kind of the problem child. It doesn't play well with others, but usually you can get away with almost all the pens I have don't bleed through 32-pound. So it's a lovely, lovely paper. So these are the monthly inserts. So this is going to be one section of my planner. And then I have these others here. So I think what I am going to do is I'm going to start assembling the planner, and then I'm going to go ahead and show you the walkthrough of everything that I have so far. I think that's probably the better way to do it. So I kind of pre-assembled some of the pieces in advance so that this video wasn't 5 hours long. And I'm going to stop and show you some of the things that I did. I do have a few pieces to punch, so I can show you that. So one of the things I was going to do was show you the actual dividers and talk about planner dividers. To me, planner dividers are the most fun part of the planner. It's the most fun part making them. I try to experiment and do them different ways. I don't always like do the same thing all the time. I did something different this time, is I had some original artwork created for it based on Mr. Crafty and I, when we got married. The movie Up was kind of the theme of our wedding. Our wedding invitations all had the Up house with the balloons. We even had a little Up house with balloons for like our cake table. Everyone got a copy of the movie Up. Mr. Crafty and I both ended up with a little grape soda membership badge. We each bought the other that as our wedding gift to each other, and didn't know that we had done that until we gave each other our gifts. So I thought that was really funny that we both ended up doing that. So Up was kind of a big inspiration for us. So when we got home with the RV, I had my friend, Miss Kelly. I told her exactly what I wanted, and she executed awesomely. So I have this awesome little dashboard now. Adventure is out there, and it's our little motor home with the Up balloons. I love this so much. It is so cute. I have two different versions. I have it with a motor home and with a travel trailer, a little vintage one. So these are going to be available in our shop because they are my design. So we're going to sell them as a printable. We are selling them as a planner printable. So this is actually an A5 size, so you could make a divider out of it. And there's also a cover size that would fit with Erin Condren and the Happy Planner. So if this speaks to you, you would be able to purchase one and you could use that in your own planner. But I just loved it. And I think that was a big reason why I wanted to change into the yellow planner, because I knew how cute it would look. So none of these dividers have been punched, so I'm going to punch those too. But what I did for them is I backed them with scrapbook paper. So they are cardstock on one side and scrapbook paper, cardstock scrapbook paper on the back. So that's one divider. Here's another one. It's Palm Springs. So where I just got to go, which was awesome. This one has been punched already. I have not put the tabs on. These are just the dividers. I backed this with crepe paper. This is from the Poolside collection. And then I have this divider, which is color blocked with wood grain paper, and it's backed with the same. This is from Wonder. And what I wanted to show you with this one specifically, this is one of my favorite techniques with divider creating, is doing a pattern and then putting another pattern over it down the center like that. And then so what I thought I would do with this one is use one of my photographs from the road. This was taken in New Mexico, and I just love it because she just looks so awesome in this like very unusual setting. So I wanted to go ahead and glue her down right down the center like that. And what I specifically, when I look at dividers and paper, like looking at paper for dividers, I look at the kind of like the features of the paper and how can I make this like really amazing. So what I love about this is that she really pops on this black and white when you put her on this side. When I was originally testing this, I started out this way, but she kind of just like blends right into that tone. She doesn't really stand out very well. So then I made the decision to assemble it so she'd be on this side, and you can see like, wow, that makes such a huge difference. So I found a photo and I minimized it so it would be a little bit smaller, and that way she could kind of stand out and be part of the planner too, because she is a really fun part of my travels. Like I love taking pictures of this purse when I go on trips. I took pictures of her all throughout Europe when I got to go to Italy. She's been to Hawaii, New York City. She has gotten around. So I would just die if the Kate Spade Instagram account like tagged me or like regrammed one of my photos. I always tag them hoping that will happen, but I love her. She is like one of the fun things about traveling for me. So I wanted her to be a big part of my planner. So I wanted to show you that that was like one thing you can do is you can incorporate your own photography, your own little artwork into making your dividers. They don't have to be, just the scrapbook paper. You can kind of fancy them up. And I go into a lot of detail when we go and do the online workshop. If you've ever attended my Crafty Girl workshop, you have definitely seen me go into detail. We make the dividers. I show different ways of decorating them. So it's going to be fun when the online version comes out because there's a lot of stuff I wanted to show you. And speaking of paper, so one of the paper collections that really, really stood out to me as being like a winner for this one was this Crepe Paper Open Road collection. It's all about travel, like road trip destination. And it was way, 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 like it's like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. It's been around a while. I think it's 3 years old. But I found some store selling it, and they were selling it at wholesale price, and they were selling it like in the wholesale pack, so you could have to buy like 25 sheets of it. And I was like, sold, because I knew how much I could do with this. So as an example, I just want to show you, like when you look at scrapbook paper, it has the possibility of being so dynamic. And like as an example, I took this and I added a honey to it, and I punched clouds using roadmap and just like a bingo card and just a book copy. And I made it look like she's kind of like walking down the road, be still and listen. And she's got all these like things going on in her head. But stuff like that, like how neat is that? And there's some paper out there that is just like so awesome, so special. The special paper is worth kind of keeping in your little hoard, your little stash for dividers, because sometimes you're going to make a divider that's just like, oh, that's so awesome. Like this is one of those dividers that I will always love forever because it almost feels like a little piece of art that I made, just crafting it. And it's not complicated. It's very simple, but I love it so much. And that's what's so fun about the divider making is it's not just like slapping papers together and like, I'm done. It's actually constructing art with them. So the Open Road collection had this awesome like brick wall and geometrics on it. And it had this one paper that has like all these little like elements that you could snip out. And then, and I have a Reset Girl, Simple Stories Reset Girl here. Paper, which I love, so it kind of blends in with this whole look. And I think this is from Wonder, the Crepe Paper Maggie Holmes collection. I'm pretty good at identifying them because I use the same papers over and over and over and over again because I buy them in 25 packs, like 25 sheets per pack. So you have them around a while, and I never get tired of them. I just use them again and again in my planners. I love what I love. I love the geometric one so much. So I'm using her as an example to you to consider, like when you make certain planners, like put a piece of your heart into them, because it just makes you even more likely to like want to grab it and play with it and do stuff in it. So here is this one that I just finished. I just had to do that little piece I wanted to show you, and I am punching it. This is my favorite punch ever. I highly recommend this punch. It is the KW Trio 9170. It is the magic is in this little guy right here. It has a guide and it pops out so that you can always make sure that you are punching the same place over and over again because it slides out, and it's measured by the paper sizes. So A5 is this one right here. So as long as I like make sure it's secure and I put it in there the same, my holes will always line up the same way every single time. It's the only punch that has that little guide too. This is probably my third punch that I've bought from the company. I actually bought an extra one because I've taken it to all of my workshops, and let everyone use it to punch their stuff. That's all I've recommended. I love this little guy so much. So I'm going to put that link below. And it's actually not that expensive. It's like $26. And it's sold by a company called Time System. I think they're located here. When I bought it, I had to buy it from a European company, but now they actually have someone selling them here. So here is another really cool combination of artwork that I downloaded that this is also crepe paper. And I loved how like perfect they look together. They look like they were made for each other. I wanted to find as much like vintage artwork as I could find and stuff that like looked like it just belonged. I loved the little horn player. He looks like he's just blowing his little horn, his little heart out. We have a brick wall, which I thought was perfect. That was probably one of my most favorite places to photograph. I could have spent hours there just photographing in the French Quarter. So I am continuing on punching everything. And this is actually a cover from a pulp fiction book. I don't remember where I got it. I've had it for a long time in my files. I used to love the covers of these pulp fiction books. I had a little magnet set of them. She's covered up at least, but I just thought it was kind of funny to put her in my planner. I think it's funny how risque these books were, but if you've ever read one, they're not that risque compared to what we have today. I just think that it's kind of funny. It's like my little humor in there. So I forgot to actually punch this one. Okay, so I have all my dividers, and yeah, they're not all matchy-matchy. They all have their own little personality and stuff. I kind of like the fact that they were all unique and different. There's actually 6 of them. She's going to be kind of an extra just in case I think I'm going to put note paper behind her, so she's kind of a stop. She's an extra in case I need to put her to work, other than just being in front of some paper. I haven't decided. Like I said, I don't really know what I don't know because I haven't actually started the RV living, so I don't know how many other dividers or anything I need, so I'm just sticking them in here, testing that they all look good. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is add the tabs. So I had mentioned before that I have a main tab and a sub tab. So the main tabs obviously are these tabs. They're dividers. They're gonna go on these main dividers, the big ones. And I've already pre-punched all of my little tabbies, and I used my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch, which I absolutely love. And basically what I do is I find like the right paper, the one I think is just going to be like make the just blend well or contrast well, that just will make it a little bit more special. And usually I punch it from like a scrap piece that's still left in there. So all you do is you flip it upside down so that you can see where you're lining up the piece, and then you can punch. This particular page, like, I love this little band at the bottom, so I usually try to incorporate that, but you don't have to. I mean, you could punch it like this, so it's just the circles as an example. So that is how I punch those. And what I usually do is I punch a front and a back. So I always have a front, and then I punch another piece, and so I have a back, and I glue them together and then press them together. So I have a front and back now. That makes them extra sturdy. And I usually, like when I do this, I don't find that I have any problems with them popping off. It's very rare that they do, but I'm actually going to staple them in place after I paste them down. So what we're going to do before I attach them, because I think it's easier to do this. This is for the extra. So I have a 6th divider in there, and usually when I start a new row of tabs, I generally will change up the paper. I don't know why. It's just this funny little habit I have. I just think it makes it more fun that the next row will be a different pattern. So when it comes to these, I already started these by cutting them out. And as you can see, they're like little fortune cookies, fortune cookie fortunes. And then I have a key that I made for myself down here, so I know what order that they're supposed to go in. So that looks like it's in the right order. So all I'm going to do at this point is I'm just going to glue them to each tab. Okay, so there are my main tabs. So I'm not gonna, the glue dries fairly quickly, and with such a simple application, I'm not gonna wait like for them to cure. They're on there. So with attaching my tabs, what I generally do is I just glue this little lower part of the shoulders of the tab all along the front. So from one side to the other. And then I start by applying it so that it's towards the top, and you can make sure that you're gluing it to that side properly by like checking here, like make sure. I don't put it all the way to the top. I feel like that's pretty good. So like already I love that, how cute and playful that looks. So then I'm going to do my 2017 plans with the next guy over. So now this time when I go to, I'm going to grab the next divider and I'm going to hold them together so that I can use this as my guideline, that I'm getting I'm giving it enough space between them so they have a nice little gap. They're the same height along the top of the planner, and they're not too, like they're spaced just right. So the same thing goes for the next divider. I'm going to grab that one. I'm going to glue the little front. I generally have not ever really shared this method. I usually keep it in my workshop, but I thought if you have that little tab, this is such a fun way of adding, that tab punch I should say. It's such a fun way of adding a little extra something to your dividers. And you can control the font when you make your own little tabs. Why I do this, honestly, you know, printing them out on using Word and printing them out on white paper, is it just simplifies. It makes it so much simpler. You don't have to line anything up to punch them out. I like it. I love the way it looks. I think it's fun, and you can just peel it off or cover it over if you want to change that divider later. So must do is next. And here is like, if you start finding that you're like, I'm kind of running out of room, they need to be adjusted some way, The great thing is you do have time to fix that. This glue is pretty forgiving, and we're going to staple them in place too, so you have time to fix. They just need they need to be smooshed together a little bit more than I smooshed them. Like already this one is like really, it likes being attached here, and it's kind of pulling at the paper. Oop. But I removed it anyway because I want to squish it over a little bit more. It's been a while since I've made these, so I kind of forgot like how much room do you give them? But that's okay, because I want to show you like, look, I've made a cajillion of these, and even I forget. I don't always get it right either. And it's okay. Just pull it off, re-glue it, and move it. It's not going to ruin anything. And you have time, and this one, hopefully this one will fit. Okay, I'm going to move over must do a little bit more. Each time you do it, though, you do need to make sure that you add more glue, because the glue will dry. I'm going to squish it over just a little bit so they're overlapping. So in the workshops that I've taught, you know, everyone's very different in how they look at things. And I see a lot of people struggle so much with making their planner perfect. And it's like they can't enjoy it unless it's perfect. And when I see that perfectionism issue, which I understand it so well because it kept me from even joining in and having fun in the first place, I really want to encourage you not to let that get to you. Don't look at this project as if it has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be flawed. You're flawed. I'm flawed. We are flawed people. It's unrealistic to expect flawed people to make perfect things. It's not realistic, and it's not fun. It's not fun to be perfect. And you are ruining all the fun for yourself when you're so focused on it having to be that way. So I'm going to show you in a perfect example. I just glued my must do on the totally wrong divider because I grabbed all of them at once. See? But look, I can just pull it off and start over again. It's not the end of the world. I'm still having fun, even though I just made a huge mistake on camera. My favorite thing. Oh my gosh, that just reminded me. So last video when I was doing the notebook and I was using my cinch, so many of you were so sweet. You're like, Corey, you know, you're making this harder on yourself. You could do it this way. And that's fine. I knew when I was doing it that I probably was doing it wrong because I hadn't practiced. I didn't look it up. I just winged it. Winging it can be fun. And I encourage you to try winging it with this kind of thing. When you're making a planner, a special planner like this, wing it. Just try. You know, it's so fun. There's only a few things you need. It's like you need some good glue, a pair of scissors, maybe a punch to make your tabs, and some paper. And that's really all this is. Like, how simple does that sound, right? It's like literally going back to elementary school. You're cutting paper, pasting it together, and then you're making some little tabs with your punch. That's what you're doing, essentially. So try to look at this as fun. Let your little inner girl out. Like, wee! That's what we're doing. We're having fun. Okay, so I actually ended up with 2 extra dividers. And I made this guy. How did I end up doing that? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out this one for now. And then I'm going to add this girl is who I made it for. So this is actually the Reset Girl pattern paper here I have on the back of this divider. This one. And then this is the tab I made from it. And you can see that I don't even have a title on it because it's just a spare. I don't know what is going to be back here other than just some paper. So you can put blanks until you know what you know. And if you don't have a plan for it, you could just put a sticky note on this and say, hey, temporarily, this is what this is until you've decided that that's what it is. So look how cute and fun that is. Yay. So on the back side, all the little, it's all, oop, I feel like you guys can't see. There we go. So it's all wood grain on the back, and then it's the fun yellow on the front. So there we go. Those are my main tabs. And now I'm going to make my sub tabs. So I'm switching out my bowls and grabbing the divider, the subdivider. So the subdividers are about half the size of an A5 divider. So you could make a bunch of A5 dividers and then just slice them down the center if you wanted to. That would probably be the easiest. Now that I think about it, why didn't I do that sooner? Because I do everything the hard way. That's why. So I just gave myself a good tip. Make one A5 size divider and then go down, because I just doubled my work by doing them individually the way that I did. But basically, that's all that they are, is just like an A5 divider sliced in half. And what they're doing is you're going to put the tab on the top of these, and they're going to become a subdivider within your main categories. So I predetermined what I was going to use. I made a list, and then I typed up all the names that I was going to need, and now I'm going to cut them out, and we're going to attach them to these guys. So we're going to do that all over again, and through the magic of editing, we're going to speed this up. Okay, and again, this is going to be an extra. I have this one that says notes here that I noticed that I had typed up, but I'm not sure. I think that I was intending to put that on the full-size one, so I'm going to hold off on adding that until I figure out what was my intention with that one, because I am not remembering it. So I have this little key here that's telling me like where all my subdividers are going to go to. So first we're going to stick in. So first we're going to put in the calendar pages, because I know that those are ready to go. And so here's going to be like, this will be February, and then I'll make March, and then onward and on so forth. So they're all in here, and I have a whole year's worth of those. And then my 2017 plans. So I have this little stack here that I've made. And now I have a bucket list. So, oops, I just covered up what I was doing. Okay, so here they are. So here's my bucket list. So what I did when I got them all assembled is I marked with sticky notes, these little page flags from like Target, these little cheapy guys. I just marked the ones on top up here that needed a subdivider. So that says bucket list. So this was bucket list. So if there was a tab down here, that meant that it was one of the main tabs is what it fit into. So this was a bucket list subdivider, and those are the inserts that it went with it. Here is my 2017 plans. And again, I will go through the whole thing after I get it assembled so you can see. Okay, and then here was my trip expenses. So after the bucket list comes this subdivider called expenses, and then I put trip expenses back here. And then I have what is called my inspiration section, and I mentioned before that I was going to be putting in vision boards, project sheets. So this whole packet, my vision project, this whole little packet that we sell here in our shop, I'm going to stick that whole thing in here because I want to make sure I've given myself plenty of real estate for any and every little project that I can think of, because this is like my new life. This whole planner is like our new way of living. There's lots of things I haven't even thought about. So I want to make sure I've given myself plenty of room for my imagination. So I'm going to stick these pages in here so I can create like my vision, my life. Okay, so I have that all in here, this whole section of just my vision, my projects. And then this is going to be my must-do section. So my must-do section has different components to it. So I have this routine insert that I made that I have not filled out yet. And then, as you see, I had labeled this project. So that was, I know that's going to be a subdivider because it was labeled up above. So I popped my little projects. There's the inserts, and then I have this whole need to buy, and that says shopping, and that's the shopping. So I'm going to stick those in here together too. This is like so exciting. I love when my planner starts to come alive, like it's filling up. Okay, and so the next component is my resource section. So I'm flipping that over. And then I have this little section here. It says resources, so I know that that's going to go in here. And then this, which I will be showing you very shortly, and then that has its own little subdivider called Parks Guide. Ooh, this planner is getting full. Does not take any time at all. And then, okay, so this little thing that says notes was for this, I think. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to put that on a subdivider. I think I'm just going to put it on this, and this will be the notes section. And so what I wanted to do is just put a bunch of paper. So you could either, again, like this is the Carpe Diem Planner Essentials Basic Inserts. These come with lined or graph paper. So that's an option you can put. Always keep a little section of just like note-taking paper. I have these inserts too. They are blank at the top, so you can put your own title, and they're grid, and they're the 32 pounds. So I'm going to stick these in here as my note paper. So now I have everything in here. And then, so I have a variety of little goodies in here. So this is from my Faithful Girl Planner Workshop. That's in here. I also have some little journal cards that come from that class as well. So I'm going to stick those there. And then there's the, I think what I'm going to do is put those into my, well, actually I might keep this one out. So I made some little journal cards with some artwork that I had downloaded that I had in my file. So this was a little, I printed that on the cardstock and then trimmed it down. So I just wanted to have some fun little guys. This is an ad from TWA Airlines, which does not exist anymore. And then there's an old New York, the Wonder City poster. So just for now, until I come up with something more ingenious, I will just use them in here just to add some color. And I think I will put I'm a Faithful Girl in here, because the whole reason why I'm doing this is because I kind of feel like this is a ministry for me. You know, I really do want to get out there and I want to encourage women in whatever way that looks like. And I feel like this is something God really put on my heart to do, because I don't remember ever thinking or dreaming like one day I want to live in an RV and travel around the country. So I'm very excited to see where this takes us. And so I'm going to put my Faithful Girl in there, because that is how I feel. And then isn't this cute? This is from Peach Palm on Etsy, but I think it's like the cutest little clip, and it's perfect for this divider because it looks like a little balloon now. Okay, so I have all of these all set up, which is really exciting. And I was just looking around to see if I had, I want to grab something really quick here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm probably going to use this one. So I have these little envelopes that were made for the Traveler Notebook that you can put like receipts and little bits, and I always end up needing stuff like this. Plus, I know it will look really cute as kind of the backdrop here. I wish I could remember where I got these. By the time this video goes up, hopefully I will have found where they came from. I vaguely remember. I've had these for so long that now I'm not even sure where I got them from. And they do look cute in there. Okay, so here is my planner, and I am so happy with how it turned out. This little tab here, I thought I had done, okay, maybe I didn't. Okay, so I'm going to clear all this mess off here real quick so I can show you. I'm trying to decide. I have like a variety of patterns of them. I'm trying to decide what looks cuter. Ooh, I think that one's the winner. I need to actually put these in my traveler's notebooks. Okay, I am so excited. Oh, and I just remembered there's one other accessory I have to add to this, which shame on me that I forgot. Okay, so one accessory for this planner, and consider this for a planner for yourself if you think that this would be helpful, is Filofax makes this business card holder, and it holds 8 cards. I got this on Amazon. I will link it below. I actually just bought like 2 more of these because these are things I just like having around, because you never know when you might need one. And luckily I actually had one on hand for this video because I purchased them. And also I would point out to you another, I wanted to see if the cardstock chipboard that came with this, you could totally use that as a little dashboard. You could just cover it with scrapbook paper or something. I like to repurpose pieces that are already cut for you. So here is the little sleevey guy. And so it has 4 pockets on the front, and then it has the 4 on the back. So when it comes to things that are transparent, I don't like to be able to look through to the other side. I feel like it looks really messy. So what I did is I went ahead and I cut little pieces of paper that I can slip into the pockets. And that way it creates like a backing for whatever I put in there. So you might not put a business card in there right away, or a credit card or whatever it is you're going to stick in there. It might take you a little while to find something. They're good for storing all kinds of things. You can put like a sampler of washi in there if you wanted to. A 2x3 stamp fits in there, and actually I can show you. So one thing I do like keeping in my planner are like these little bitty guys. This is from Citrus Twist Kits. They usually fit in anything that's like a business card sized pocket, like that. How cute is that? So you have it to stamp in your planner. So I'm going to do that to both sides, which I don't have to. You can see that there's actually a pattern, but I don't really like that one nearly as much as this one. So, but if you have one that has double sided like that, then you just need the 4 squares and you're good. I just don't happen to care for the way that looks. And yeah, this does add like, you know, a little tiny bit of bulk here. So you have to consider that too, that you might not have that luxury. Okay. So there I have my little 4 squares. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to start putting stuff into it that I would find super helpful on the road. This was gifted to me from Dutch Brothers. Actually, I shouldn't say it that way. This was gifted to me from the organizer for PlannerCon. So I want to make sure that I actually have it with me on the trip to, you know, with me. And I never remember to bring gift cards with me. I never remember to put them in my wallet. But this is going in the RV and staying on the dashboard of the RV. So it's right there when you exit and enter. So I know this will be something that will not get lost. Actually, I'm going to put this somewhere else. So the first ones I want up here are the membership cards. So I went and applied for the gas rewards cards from several of the, they have like those big gas stations for diesels, and you can go in there as a motorhome. We have a diesel motorhome, so it's super fun. They have the best rest stops ever. They have like stuff like, usually I find that that's like the best place to get sunflower seeds and beef jerky or anywhere where the truckers stop. They always seem like they have really good selections of those things. Okay, so I'm going to put my Dutch Brothers here. I'm going to leave this little, actually I'm going to put the stamp on the back. I like things to be even. Okay, so I have a Fred Meyer gift card it's a grocery chain up here. So this would be completely appropriate for being in my RV planner that I'll remember to use, and my husband can just reach in and grab the card when he needs to at the pump. So I'm going to stick this little stampy guy on the back, and I'm probably going to find a couple other stamps in there too. So that's what will be in there. I need to put those up front for him because he specifically asked me to. So this could, like, you could slide it in here in the pocket, in the front pocket right here, or you could actually put it into your planner. Let's see. Should I put it in the back? I'm going to put it in the back. He would probably prefer I put it in the front, so we'll see. If he doesn't like it being in the back, I'll have to move it. But I think that's easy to open it up and get to. That's what I think. We'll see. Okay, so there it is. It all fits in there. Ah, yes. So exciting. Okay, so let me go ahead. Now that I've got it all assembled, let me show you what I have here in my new planner. Now, if I were to think about how long it took me to put this planner together, including making the inserts, all together, I would probably say this was like a 4 to 5 hour long project if I worked from start to finish. Now, I'm terrible at staying on task. I will get distracted. I will go make myself a snack. I will, I will procrastinate. But I'm going to honestly say it probably took 4 to 5 hours total to put everything together. Possibly I'm going to say 4 to 6 just to be on the safe side. So it helps if you have stuff gathered ahead of time, and I generally do. So I have like a file that I keep, like printables I've downloaded, artwork I've downloaded. I already knew where all of my inserts were, so I used inserts I'd already used for other tasks, and I just repurposed them. So that helped cut down on time. So as you get going and start making your own customized planner stuff, you'll create a little system for yourself so that you can have little shortcuts. And then you'll find over time, it will not take you much time at all to assemble one of these. So like I have an entire planner and I put it together in just a matter of hours. So that's very exciting because all this was a little list I made for myself in the RV. So here it is. Adventure is out there is my little dashboard. And we already talked about how I had put, new artwork on the pages I didn't need, which kind of translates through here. And then I will just continue covering this up. I have another piece of artwork that I can add here. And I'll just go through the rest of it and add that. So it'll all be covered. So then I have my 2017 plan. So I made myself an insert for all of my park reservations. So an active reservation that I've made that's in play is going to be listed here as part of my master sheet. So I can refer to this section, this whole section, when I go to plan stuff on my calendar. So this is like a master sheet of all my park reservations that I have. And as I complete each reservation, I will just check them off. So just imagine for a second, like this is being a template, just having a date column and a checklist column. Like if you made this alone, all you have to do is make a simple header that you can just change over and over again. So my intention is to create customizable printables. So I'm going to make a version where you can make your own title and see how that goes. I have the software to do it. I know I've made lots of customized printables before, so I'm going to test it out and see if it works okay and if people can do that for themselves. But I am going to do a workshop where I teach you how to do this so that you can just do it however you want, pick your own font. Okay, so this little insert is called Happy Hostesses, and so this is based on the incredibly sweet, generous women out there who have reached out to me to tell me that, hey, I would love to host you. You can stay a night on our property. Some of you live in areas where you can do that. So I just think that is just super sweet and awesome. So I started writing down the names of people who were making that offer, their email, the city and state they're at, and when they made the offer. So that way, as I plan through the year, I can incorporate those into my plans if I can, because I think that's awesome. And anything that helps me keep breaking through that little introvert barrier and connect in real life with you girls, like I really want to do that. So that was why I made this, so that I could have that on one sheet and could remember who that was. So here we have the bucket list section. So I made, again, here's another really simple template where it's just double check boxes all the way down, and you can change that to anything you need it to be. This is obviously a list that's going to be like a monster list for you, and it is something that's printed back and front. So this one, I just changed this right here. I just repeated the same title, bucket list, and I just changed the topic right here on this line. So these are all the places, destinations, and RV parks in the Pacific Northwest that I'm interested in. So that's its own page. And then these are just must-stay RV parks throughout the country that I've seen on Pinterest or on a blog post. So again, bucket lists are universal. You can use them for like bucket lists for travel, for books I want to read, for movies I want to see, for anything you can think of. Like, what's my ultimate bucket list for all the books I want to read before I leave this earth? So you could totally do the same concept. When you're looking at these, I want you to think about like, how could I use that? What could I use it for? So when I planned these, that's what I was looking for, was something really simple that I could just repeat easily and just change this little title. So those that I sell in my shop will probably have a line right here where you can print it and then write in your title. Or again, I will attempt to do the customizable type. We'll see how that goes. And then here's the expenses. So I wanted to have this based on either the month or a trip. So a month could just be the normal month of us just living in a park or wherever we are. But if there's a trip involved, like I'm already starting to like get requests to do workshops this year, yay. So I know Texas is now on my horizon. So that would be like the Texas trip. And I would try and book as many workshops as I could in that area. And that way, it would help bring our costs down in traveling there, but I can track how well did my Texas, trip do. So either by month or by trip is how I figured it. And again, this doesn't have to be a trip expense. This could just be like an expense related to remodeling your kitchen, remodeling your office, planning, different aspects of your wedding, school. What were the expenses involved in like just all the applications you have to pay for, the tests you pay for. So that kind of expense sheet is a really nice thing to have, and you can write down like the specific expenses and the date that you incurred them. And these are all like just kind of in the testing phase. I mean, you could make this much more complicated. I just wanted it to be simple, like here's the cost and what it was. And so I made myself several. Now here I have this thing called parking lot. And this is my own funny little thing that I do because I am a huge, huge user of sticky notes. I love sticky notes. And so I have this habit of writing things on sticky note pads and then not doing anything with it or leaving it on the pad. And then the next time I go to use it, there's a sticky note and I just pick it off and lay it down. And then it becomes clutter and debris instead of being useful. So I wanted a parking lot for all of my sticky notes. So when I do that little horrible habit I have, that they have a place to go. So when I write down, inevitably, that like sometimes I'll jot down like a note about like we're at a certain restaurant or something, because I know it has to be part of like the way that we do our expenses at the end of the month, like the way our accountant wants to see it. That way I can make a note like, oh, that was, when we had dinner here and we did this. Or so that's an example of how I envisioned using it, was just it'd be a place to keep sticky notes. So I wanted to have, originally I called it the Sticky Note Ranch, but I changed it to parking lot because I figured if I went to sell these, that just seemed kind of silly. That just seems like something, I don't know. I don't think everyone would appreciate a sticky note ranch. So anyway, I threw a bunch of these in here. So I had them for quite a few months. And then like we talked about before, the inspiration section. So I have this whole My Vision project. And I'm going to go back and find my other pages that I've actually filled out that were all RV specific and actually put them in here, because that will be really fun to have in here. And so I have that whole pad, that whole pack of them. I think there was like 50, maybe there's 50 sheets. I'm not sure now. Then my must-do section. So a takedown routine and a setup routine. So every time you travel and you get to your RV destination, you have to do a lot of things to set up and a lot of things to take it down when you leave. So I noticed by watching a lot of people on YouTube that it's kind of like you get the divided chores in the household, like just like you do at home. So men kind of take care of certain things and the ladies take care of certain things. So I just wanted to kind of make my own routine, because I was like getting really into like it was like being like a pit crew. When we stopped somewhere, it was like I was really excited to do my share. Like, I'm going to do this, this, and this. So mine had to do a lot with like the interior of the RV and doing different things to help Mr. Crafty get ready to take off or settle down for the night. So I'm going to type it up and when I have it, so it's all typewritten. But for now, until I figure out what the routine is, I just made a numbered sheet for myself and I'll just write down, what it is for now. And when I finally get it nailed down, then I'll type it. So then I have a project. So as we discussed, I told you earlier that I have quite a few projects that I'm going to have to do, including things like I'm going to have like a giant yard sale to sell 90% of our furniture. I think I'm keeping maybe 2 pieces, and I think maybe 2 pieces are going with us in the RV, and the rest of it has to be sold. And it's kind of tragic in a way, because this is like the first time I've ever had like nice furniture. We spent all this time like getting nice furniture and now it's like, and now we're turning around and selling it all off, and not even like even close to what we paid for it, I'm sure. So, but I have like mid-century modern furniture. I have a lot of IKEA furniture. So I'm about to throw the yard sale that I would like die to go to. Lots of decor, tons of decor really, lots of household products. And then I'm going to have a separate sale where I sell off all my planners and all my crafty stash stuff. So I'm going to have to come up with some kind of thing for that. And then we're going to have a sale at the business where we sell off the physical products that we're not going to carry over into our store because we can't fit it into the RV. So that's going to be another project. So there's like so many things that have to do with like getting into this rig. So I have a need to do list, project downsizing. So that will be like one whole thing. I have it back and front. Then I have a need to do project RV daily living. So there's all kinds of little modifications you need to make to RVs, especially when they're 10 years old like ours is. We have like a higher end RV for when it was like originally manufactured. But, in 10 years, there's like so many new things. So it's like changing out the lights from old lights to, LED lights, all the little bits and bobs. And there's just a cajillion little pieces. It would just bore you if I went through it all. But that all has to be done. So I needed to make this amazing master list for that. And then things like the customization process. So changing out the floor, painting, all those things. So I wanted to get that all down on paper so I did not forget. And then I wanted to do the shopping list. So like for RV daily living, there's a lot of like little things you have to purchase for like your kitchen. So we have all these great little kitchen appliances and like a third of them will possibly make it into the RV. So the rest must go. But I need to like make modifications. Like I can't have these mixing bowls, they're too big, but I need smaller mixing bowls. So that kind of thing. So there's going to be things that I'm going to need to purchase as we figure out finite space. And so I have a need to buy list. And then this is an example of what it would look like when I sell these, is that, you would fill it in yourself, whatever your need to buy and whatever your project is. Maybe it's your kids' room is getting a remodel. You guys are redoing the entire backyard or the front of the house, or you're going to be going back to school and the kids all need something, for school, like back to school for the kids, or your kids going off to college. Think about the myriad of different things that happen in our lives that would necessitate needing to buy stuff. So I gave myself a bunch of stuff in there. Hopefully, I don't have to buy that many things though, but I just tossed those there anyway. So here's my resources. So I'm keeping track now of the memberships. So like I showed you my cards, I just signed up for a bunch of things. Some of them have apps that I signed up for. Sometimes there's a user password. Now, yes, everything is digital these days and I could totally do that, but I've now learned from firsthand experience that you cannot count on technology. I couldn't get a connection in so many places throughout the southern part of the United States. When you're out in the desert in the middle of New Mexico, there's just no connection. So I don't want to be in that position. So I just want to have a backup. And there's nothing on here that's like super hyper private or anything. It's just stuff like my membership card for, getting gas points and free coffee, stuff like that. So, but joining a travel club, I'm notorious for forgetting the things I've signed up for. So I don't want to have to dig through my inbox and figure that out. If I sign up, I've signed up for Sam's Club, good Sam's Club. So that's something I can write in here and just keep track of. There are some RVers out there like on YouTube or on their blog that I really love. I go follow them. I go look up to see what they're doing. So I just started a list of like that kind of stuff because some of them are so resourceful and I'm looking to them as like my mentors. So I wanted to keep track of that. And then rad places. So in the course of traveling, if you come across this amazing, amazing campground or amazing place, oftentimes I will walk around and see like, what are all the sites here? What do they look like? And I'll make notes of like, if I come back here, I want to stay at that campsite next time. So I want to make notes. How did some of the parks we stayed at measure up? And that way, if I go and I want to do blogging about our lifestyle and stuff too separately. So I want to be able to make notes of that. I don't know if this format's going to work. I just kind of threw this one together, so we'll see. And then, oh, I love this. So this was a free parks guide, and I want you guys to consider whatever it is your project is. Sometimes there's resources out there. There's ebooks, workbooks. There's guides like this that have been put together, free resources. And because I can print to an A5 sized paper, it makes this full letter size document turn into a little baby one. It's so cute. Again, I didn't want to be, I didn't want my life dependent on my phone. So I wanted to have an analog version of one of my favorite states in America, and see, like, here they tell you, they break down all the different things about each little campground and what it offers. And so I thought, it's free. I'm printing it out and I'm sticking it in there because Washington and Oregon will probably be the very first places we do any exploring. So if you are a traveler, a camper, some of you are homeschool parents. One of my friends is a homeschool parent. So this is that kind of thing, like where you build a little set of like resources in your little book so that if you happen to be cruising around, you could stop at a day park and see what's up. I know there's a lot of organization that goes into, certain types of planning, especially with homeschool parents. But it's so interesting, like how much stuff you guys do with your kids. So that's what I think of when I saw this. I was like, this is something a homeschool parent would have. So I just think this is adorable. It's so cute. It's so little. So, but there's so many ebooks, workbooks, blog posts, all kinds of stuff that I've shrunk down to A5 and I stick in here. And that way I can just like read it like a book when I have a chance. Like I will put it in a planner and just read it that way. I do, for reals. Because the battery won't die on you. It doesn't need to be recharged. There's no components you have to keep track of. So, and I love that. So this whole little section is just for state parks. So if I can find one for the state of Washington, it will probably go in here. So it's my little state guide. And then I showed you how this was just blank note paper back here if I needed it for anything. And then here was the little set of cards I have so far. And then I stuck this little guy, this little paper envelope in here, and it's just got extra pockets for receipts and maybe postcards or just little tchotchke stuff. I have to figure out, honestly, like, what am I going to collect, if anything, on the road? What's going to be the thing that I buy? For a long time, I've been a Christmas ornament buyer. So if I go someplace, I want a little Christmas ornament to remember it by. But I'm at the point now where my tree is full. There's no more room. So I have to think of something else. But it obviously can't be a lot of stuff because of our space restrictions. So I was thinking, like, is it a postcard? Or is it just me taking pictures? Is that good enough? So I'll have to find out. So here is my fun little themed travel planner. So you could do this with your own travels if your family does a lot of traveling during the summer. Now, if you also think about it, like if your kids are involved in sports or an activity, like they could have a whole little planner that you could put together for keeping track of things. It could be for your kids' schoolwork and how they're doing, behavior, all those things. Like you could make a planner for each kid and make them part of the process too, which would be fun. Like there could be like a little chart in there, how they're doing with their habits, their homework, their chores, and a section for them to fill out, like a monthly like their little monthly wrap up. You could have a page in there for them to do that. So there's so many different things you can do with a planner to make it a fun tool and resource to help you. And I am really excited. I love how this turned out. Especially love this so much. I think this is really fun and playful. I love the yellow. That is way cuter than I expected. I usually don't go with, I usually just stick with the little black and white polka dots. So this was new for me. So I hope that gives you some ideas of things that you can do to customize, modify, to make a planner very specific and focused. And depending on what you're doing in your life. Some of you ladies are into direct sales, like Young Essential Oils or doTERRA. This could be an entire planner just for that life. So 31 is another direct sales company that just popped into my head. So all those type of things, like you could make a planner for that. So what I am going to be doing is, like I said, as I'm going to be putting together it. I always envisioned that I was going to be doing this big grand workshop, but I think what's going to happen with the time constraints we have is I might just start rolling out like little mini workshops. So basically I want to show you how to construct your dividers, your tabs. I want to show you how to like type up your little things, like the whole 9 yards, everything that I do, and show you how to make your own customizable little inserts, because I think that's kind of part of the issue for a lot of you is, you know, in our planner community, most of the tools at our disposal are general planning resources. So it's like calendars and task lists. But some of you have some like really specific things you want to drill down on and create lists for, and yeah, I don't mind writing on a piece of paper and using that for a while, but eventually I like to have things more streamlined and clean looking, and I love picking out fonts and all that fun stuff. So I know a lot of you would love to know how to do that, and honestly, like I keep all of what I do very low tech. I do everything super simple, easy peasy. So I would love to share with you my shortcuts and how I do that, how I find things. There are some great digital resources out there. So I think that's kind of the direction I'm going to take the first, the Planner Stylist Workshop, is it's going to be focused more on like the fundamentals of really styling a planner. Because I think a lot of you, if you could really experience being able to put all that together and it be so specific to you, would be so awesome. But these type of planners are great because they're such a great price point, so you can afford to have multiple ones, you know, for different aspects of your life. So the things I'll be rolling out very shortly is I need to show my planner, my boss planner setup, and my planner team. So you just got to see one of my new planners is my new RV planner, because we just made a huge lifestyle change like that. So so yes, it's going to be very busy. We have a lot of changes coming up, but I might not get to do another Late Night Crafty Club next Friday. It might have to be the Friday after, because now I really have to start pacing myself, and I really have to get ready for the National Planner Con next month. So like I said before, I'm going to link that below, and I am posting this request to you. I am looking for feedback. If you have any suggestions of what you think would be a great keynote topic, like what's a great speech, what would people want to hear from me? I would love to hear your feedback. I keep going back and forth, and there's part of me that goes, you know, talk about the reset story, but I want to talk about planners, or I'm not quite sure. So I'm just kind of getting a feel from people, like what would be meaningful from me, because that's what I'm trying to do. If people are really excited to meet me or see me at PlannerCon, which is just so, it's such an honor that at all for that to happen. I really don't want to disappoint anybody, and I want to like bring my A game. So I would love your feedback. And I did film a bunch of footage of our trip going across. I filmed all little snippets of our trip and took lots of pictures, but I just need some time to like compile and edit all of that. And so we're getting back into the kind of swing of things, and then figuring out like, how do we make all this stuff happen so quickly? So expect another Late Night Crafty Club, but I'm just saying now, it might not be next Friday. It might be the Friday after. It might be like an every other Friday night for a little while, but I fully intend to continue doing that because I really enjoyed it. And I really missed you guys. I really missed doing this. It felt like a really long time, and it was really weird. I felt like I was missing talking to my friends. You guys were a big part of my like Friday night. Like, it's time to hang out with my girlfriends. So speaking of which, I didn't take a single sip of anything, even though I made a point to bring my ice water up here. So I got my water. I'm like, boy, my mouth is dry. That's because I'm not drinking anything. So one of the things that would help keep this going much faster and I'll share with you, is Mr. Crafty has really expressed that he really wants me to do this live. Doing the filming first and then having to edit it and upload and all that, it's very, very time consuming. So he really wants me to do this live, and I'm kind of like biting my nails because I am not sure how well I'm going to do doing something and having, a chat situation. I might have to like present what I'm going to talk about first and then switch over and give my attention to the chat. So if you want to comment below and share your thoughts on that, that would be awesome. Like how that would work for you. Would you rather it be a live session and where I'm just talking a bit and then I can stop when I'm done and then switch over? So maybe based on that, I would just pick topics that are not as lengthy to have to explain and talk about, and that way I can switch over. So that's a little tricky for me to kind of visualize how that will work. How do I do both at the same time? Because as you can see, I'm very good at getting off track very easily. So I could see that could be a hot mess if I really think about it. But I do love the idea of being live. It's a little bit more exciting and more dynamic than me just being in the chat room. It's a little more pressure, yes, but for the most part, I'm fairly sure I could do it live. I don't know. We'll see. But I would love to hear your feedback. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to do that and to hit the little bell, because the little bell will make sure that you get notified when I upload a new video, which I will be doing more of in the coming weeks. And also, please like or comment below, because one thing about YouTube is they're very much about interaction. So just viewing a video is no longer enough for like YouTube to be like, this is great, we're going to make sure other people see it. You really get to be in people's feeds, like they'll suggest your video if people are actually liking and commenting, because then they feel like, wow, this person's like doing a great job. Apparently that's how YouTube looks at things. And I have been terrible at even like asking people to subscribe. So I've been doing it all wrong for a very long time. So I'm now going to get in the habit of saying, please like, subscribe, and comment below, so I can sound much more professional, like a real YouTuber. But as always, I truly appreciate you girls watching, and I am so glad to be back in the saddle, and I'm so glad that you guys are here. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, because I do my best to kind of check in and come back after I upload a video and kind of answer as quickly as possible. If you have any specific requests about the workshops that I'm going to be doing and you want to get your little voice in there, like I really want to see this, that would be great. Any suggestions you guys make, I will take like into consideration into rolling into workshops and address things that you guys, if there are gaps that you're just not getting an answer for out in the planner community, I would love to help you get there. I have a lot of exciting plans to share with you guys about things that I want to do once we get on the road. Some really fun like giveaway prizes that I have in mind. Like I would love to host like a day where it's like a day with the Reset Girl, and pick an individual that I spend the day with, and based on your request, because you want to reset your life. I came up with that today, and I'm like, that's an amazing idea. Like, I would love to do that. I would love to help people on a more individual basis kind of figure out how to get going. And this year, I really want to get a Reset Your Life kind of workbook started, and some kind of like workshop to really kind of help you break down. But spoiler alert, it starts with the list. That's all I got to say. It always does. So as you think about stuff this year and about how you're trying to like fix things or change things, some of you have had some kind of like already this year have had some big changes you didn't expect, loss, things that just weren't on your radar at all. And that's unfortunately sometimes how the reset hits you, is it comes uninvited. And so you have an opportunity to make lemonade out of those lemons that you've been handed, which is no fun. But that message is so on my heart, and I can't tell you, I have experienced some of those radical life changes that are just kind of crummy. And I would love to help you get to a place where you can think through the steps that you're going to take to get yourself back on equal footing again, and feel good about yourself, and look forward to something new and your new chapter, because sometimes that's where you end up with the reset. And I can tell you that I would never have imagined in a million years where that decision would land me. And I want nothing more than to help you get to this side where you feel more joyful and confident in who you are and what you're doing. And the crummy stuff that's happened is all in the rearview mirror, and it's, you're focused fully ahead. So lots of exciting stuff this year. I'm really excited to get going and just be like all about the reset, and continuing to show you girls how to use planners in a dynamic way to become like besties with your reset goals. And so that's an important mission for me, and I want to continue that going. And so I'm the worst person ever in saying like goodbye, because I'll just keep talking and talking. So I love you girls to pieces. I'm so glad to be back. Thank you so much for your patience and understanding and just being here tonight. And if you're watching this 3 or 4 days or a month from now, thank you for watching. And I hope that you've gotten something inspirational out of it, and that you come back again for another video. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everybody.